Hey guys, how's it going? It's day 2 here in Lisbon in Portugal. I have got up early from my hotel room. It's like 7 a.m. The sun hasn't even come up yet properly. The street lights are back on, the planes are taking off, the power is back on in all the buildings, so the blackout is over, thank goodness. Yesterday, oh, here's a plane taking off now. Anyway, yesterday Panasonic LUMIX held their EU conference to announce 2 brand new full frame cameras and a new S-series zoom lens. But the camera I'm most excited about that they've announced is this one right here. They've given it to me to test out for this trip. It's the S1 Mark II. They went through all the specifications of this camera, like all the details, every single thing that this camera can do. And like half of it, to be honest with you, like I probably won't use, but there are a few details that this camera has that make me really, really excited. And here are some of them. So if you're familiar with the camera that LUMIX announced earlier this year, the S1II, this camera and the other camera that LUMIX have announced is essentially like the exact same camera, like the same body, same viewfinder, same tilting screen. You know, it tilts like all sorts of ways. I'm really excited to use the tilting screen. I never flip my screen out to film, but I definitely will be flipping it like this. Do you know what I mean? Going around filming with the screen flipped out like that. It's like a really nice, like sneaky way to take photographs, like street photos, filming like guests at a wedding, something like that. But then if you're filming a piece to camera or, you know, you want to flip the screen around, it does that too. I think that's awesome. Such a good little screen. The S1II has it, this camera has it, and the other camera that they've announced has it as well. So the body and the screen and the viewfinder and the ergonomics are all the same as the S1II, but that's kind of where the similarities end. This camera has a completely different sensor. It's a partially stacked 24 megapixel sensor, so the readout speed from this camera is insane. I think they said yesterday that it can take, on electronic shutter, it can take 70 photographs a second, which, like, how is that possible? 70 photographs a second? I'll have to check that one. That's great. 70 photographs a second. I'll not be shooting 70 photographs a second. There's like no scenario where I would ever use that. Maybe confetti at like a wedding or something, but like sports and stuff, I don't even think you need 70 a second, but still pretty cool that this camera has the capabilities to do that. And that's with autofocus as well, which is crazy. One thing I'm really excited about testing out with this camera is shooting 5.1 25p and 5.1 50p. So it's not quite 6K open gate, although this camera does do that at 25p, but having the 5.1K 50 frames, like that's probably enough for me, you know? Like I've grown to absolutely love that, you know, open gate size. Like I'm filming open gate 6K on my S9 right now, and this camera has open gate 5.1K at 50p. To deal with the fast readout from this sensor, the S1 Mark II has a SD card slot, but it also has a CFast Express card slot, and none of the cameras I currently own use like a CFast Express card, so if I'm going to use this camera in the future, I'm going to have to invest in some of those cards, and I think they're a little bit more expensive than an SD card, but you know, that's not the biggest deal. There's a few new color profiles and shooting profiles, or whatever they call them, at LUMIX. There's like an ARRI one coming. They also have a new cine-like profile, which they introduced with the S1II. I don't know if I'm going to use that. I really, really love Vlog. I shoot everything in Vlog. I think I'm going to stick with that. But one thing to note, if you are shooting Vlog with this camera, because of the sensor, the different sensor, I think the 2 native ISOs are 640 and 5,000. So yeah, I'm really gonna have to remember that, because my S5IIX is 640 and 4,000, and I just go between those 2 ISOs to minimize noise. But this one is 640 and 5,000. I don't know, does that mean that this camera is better than the S5IIX in low light? Potentially. So yeah, there's a few initial features that excite me about the S1 Mark II. I've got the rest of the day and tomorrow to shoot with this camera around Lisbon, and I'm really excited to do so. So let's get in there and show Lisbon the old LUMIX S1II S1 Mark II. Okay, let's do that again.